We're very grateful for the fact that we have already smashed our targets in terms of where we were hoping to get with testing, and we want to encourage people to go and get tested. So just in the last period, in the last week since we started this suburban testing blitz last Thursday, we've now had more than 164,000 people who have been tested across Victoria, and more than nearly 95,000 doors have been knocked. We are now at an enormously high testing rate per 100,000, 13,359 tests per 100,000 Victorians, bringing us to that total of 881,000 that the Premier mentioned just before. So as part of that, we have found 449 confirmed cases. The postcodes with the highest number of new cases in the past week have been 3064, 3047, 3031 and 3060. And this also includes 111 confirmed cases of community transmission. Disappointingly, however, we have had more than 10,000 people who have refused to be tested. Now, that might be for a range of reasons, including that they may have already been tested in a different location. We are analysing that data to see exactly why people are refusing, but it is concerning that the report that I have received is that some people believe that coronavirus is a conspiracy or that it won't impact on them. So what I want to stress here is that coronavirus is a very contagious virus. It can go through your family very quickly. It can affect your neighbours, it can affect your loved ones, it can affect your entire community. So for those individuals in those communities who have not yet been tested, we are urging them to get tested as quickly as possible. As I said, we are making it much easier for people to be tested than ever before. We've already put in place about 10 additional testing locations to add to the 22 existing testing sites in those restricted postcode areas. And from today, we have new sites opening. They are RMIT Brunswick Campus, Flemington Community Centre, Oak Park Sports and Aquatic Centres, and we will be keeping the community informed of any additional locations. But we will also be providing more mobile testing sites, and from today, they will be in the following suburbs: in Maidstone, in Fawkner, Brunswick West and Auburn Vale, and from tomorrow, moving to Glenroy and Craigieburn, Roxburgh Park. So to those individuals, I would say, of course, if you are in those restricted postcode areas, the test is free. You can be tested regardless of whether you have symptoms, and we're making it much easier for your children to be tested through the saliva test as well as members of your own family. Just finally, really quickly, I'm just going to give you some data around the number of tests processed by postcode, and we can provide further data for you on that postcode basis. But for 3012, that's Brooklyn, Kingsvale, Maidstone, Tottenham and West Footscray, we've had 2,502 tests processed in the last week. In 3021, we've had 1,998 tests processed. In 3032, we've had 1,476 tests processed. For 3038, that is 2,815 tests processed. For 3042, we've had 600 tests processed. For 3046, 2,014 tests processed. For 3047, 3,564 tests processed. And for 3055, 1,304 tests processed. In 3060, 1,713 tests processed, and for 3064, 4,655 tests processed. Obviously, the population size of different postcodes does vary across those locations, so I don't want the numbers to necessarily reflect more willingness than others across those communities. The population does vary enormously across those locations. Finally, I just wanted to add a couple more supports that are available to those communities. Obviously, we're providing this additional mental health support that the Premier's just announced, but I also want to remind those families that there are emergency relief packages available to them if they require it. So if they test positive or they are isolating because they are a close contact, or in fact if they are waiting for a test result to come back, and they need some basic essentials, we can get an emergency relief package dropped off to them, and that is essentially 2 weeks worth of supplies of basic food staples together with some basic toiletry products, and for those families that require it, baby food and nappies and essentials for babies as well. So that all they need to do is call the coronavirus hotline and that can access that support. Finally, we have spoken about this before, but just to remind those families as well, if they need to be isolating because they're either diagnosed or they're a close contact and they have no financial means of support, they can't access their sick leave, for example, from an employer, they've got no other means of financial support, they can also access a $1,500 hardship payment to make sure that people are not making the wrong choice, and that is to go for a financial payment or to go to work rather than complying with the Chief Health Officer's legal directions.